Sorry about the very poor lighting. So, good morning. Still very sick, as you can hear. Still coughing up crap. Did not sleep much, as you might imagine. But it was at least restful. It was a very quiet spot I was in. This morning I have learned that even if McDonald's is signed that they're open 24 hours, that doesn't actually mean they're open 24 hours. No, really. It means the drive-in might be, but the walk-in isn't. Even though they're serving precisely the same food, and all the lights are on inside, and all the ordering, machines are on, there's literally nothing stopping them from being open, except they've locked the fucking doors. I am real hungry, because I kind of collapsed at the end of yesterday and did not actually eat any dinner. Really didn't want to eat the dry, oaty, biscuity things that I've got as my, long shelf life food with this throat. I want mushy, greasy McDonald's and soothing hot coffee. Fortunately, it is 5:30 a.m. right now, and they open at 6, so I only have to kill half an hour, which is super easy to do. So, I'll see you in a little over half hour when I've had my brekkie. Ugh, Jesus Christ, that looked terrible. Wait, how much of that is my shadows from my glasses? How much is that as bags? That's bags. That's some serious bags. I thought it just might be shadows from my frames. No, I look bad. Or worse. Because I never really look good, do I? As you can see, I've curled up in the back of the van. Had my breakfast, pulled around to a local dog park just to chill for a bit, played a bit of Pokemon. But I started to get a bit feverish. Well, hot up here, cold feet. So fevers and chills, probably not a good sign. So I'm going to curl up and take a nap, I think. Do have another inspection this afternoon for another flat. But that's not for a few hours, so I'm going to squeeze in a little morning nap, try and recover some energy. Hello again. So it's about 4 hours since the last clip was recorded. I spent all those 4 hours in the back of the van there. Basically just dozing. Not properly asleep, but, floating somewhere between unconscious and conscious. Until the van got too hot. I mean, I'm under the shade of a tree, but the sun moves, so I was hitting the back of the van and heating up that back window, which made it really uncomfortable back there. My body really, really, really needs some rest to recover. My ribs hurt from coughing and hacking. All the way around as well. Look at the muscles in my back of my ribs and around the front. Not easy to breathe. And very, very sniffly. Time for more medicine. Probably. Ugh. I didn't find any way to clean this, so it's all sticky. Baby wipes to the rescue. I guess small mercy. I haven't felt it moving south into my lungs. It's still upper respiratory tract, which good-ish, preferable right over bronchitis. Ugh. So, still a few hours to go before. Damn it! I dropped my measuring cup. There we go. There's still a few hours to go before the next inspection though flat. I might find somewhere to eat, and after that I will reconnoiter the neighborhood, find somewhere to park, chill out until it's time for the inspection, etc., etc. Oh, this is another one of those videos which is just not a very entertaining adventure today, is it? Okay, so as you can see, I'm still shiny and sweaty and still feeling quite sick. Coughing has started to settle down a little bit, which is a small mercy because my ribs really hurt. But I got the old sick, slightly sexy, raspy voice going on. How you doing? So, just had the inspection for another place. This one was pretty good too, not quite as good as the one I looked at most recently. What was it, yesterday? Day before. God, I don't know, they're all blurring together. Yesterday. But another perfectly serviceable place. Clean, tidy, and good nick. You know, everything I could need. And thank you to the local Ballarat furry, which there are Ballarat furries I've just discovered, small town furries, isn't that adorable? Who contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm local in Ballarat too. If you need a reference or any of that kind of help, and they also gave me a little bit of advice about the sort of areas to avoid because of, I think they said, desperate people." The place I just looked at is not too far from that area they kind of warned me away from. But here's the thing. I am a desperate person. Perhaps not in the context that they were implying. But yeah, it's not like I can say no to a place. I'm living out of my van and I hate it. And it sucks. And it's really not good for me. Physically, mentally. You know, this is not a choice. This is a resort, a last resort from being completely just on the street homeless. So even if it is in a rough area, it's fine. So there really hasn't been much to report on today, as evidenced by the clips predecessing this. Just haven't done anything because I've been feeling too sick. Just kind of been sitting around, parked somewhere, usually lying in the back, either napping or just staring into the middle distance. Because I really just, whatever this infection is, it's kicking the shit out of me, because that's what infections do. My immune system seems to be doing its job. I'm keeping up with my medicine. I really should be drinking more fluids though. But here's a little secret about living out of your van. I have deliberately not been drinking as much as I probably should, because every time I drink, it's like, well, sooner or later, I'm going to have to go find somewhere to pee, or pee in a bottle, and then have to find somewhere to pull that bottle out that's, not obnoxious. So you make those calculations. Same thing with the other bodily functions. That's you got to do the calculation of How far away am I from a facility? It's very annoying. Yeah, I really should be drinking more fluids. Anyway, fluids. And I have been using those little tablet things I use to flavour my water that are full of vitamin C and zinc and whatnot. So, I'll tell you what we can talk about that's not just house hunting or me being sick is Pokemon Legends ZA. Let's start with, as I'm in doom scrolling TikTok in my sort of downtime from time to time, I started to search for Pokemon stuff to see what people were saying about it, because I've been out of the loop on this, because I've had bigger things to worry about. So this is the first Pokemon game I've gone into cold in quite some time, knowing very little about it, which has been kind of fun. There are people out there who think this is pronounced Pokemon Z to A, as in A to Z, but the other way around. But no. Pokemon ZA? No. Although I prefer to call it that, because if you just take the acronym P and then ZA, pizza. Pokemon pizza. Lovely slow-cooked tails. There's a deep-cut Pokemon reference for you. Pokemon ZA. Pokemon Legends ZA. Whichever way you want to go. It looks like arse. The textures are so flat. Like, of the buildings and stuff, everything's just a texture. There's no geometry. The buildings are literally just boxes with texture painted on. Like the balconies, the windows, none of that is geometry. It's all texture. It is so lazy and such an just obnoxious shortcut. At times, a lot of the time, the city looks like it belongs on a GameCube. In fact, I think the buildings in the GameCube games, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and Pokemon Colosseum, those buildings probably have more geometry. I'd probably put money on that, actually. Character models don't look as good, which is where all the processing's going on their shitty engine, I assume. But it's fine. It looks like a garbage. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. It means they've cut some corners that really I mean, it's one of the world's most profitable brands, right? They should be spending more money on it. It's ridiculous. Spending more money on the production of it is what I mean, the games. But whatever. It looks like arse. It runs pretty well compared to the most recent other Pokemon games on Switch. I haven't seen any performance issues. It doesn't run great considering how it looks. It should be running at like 120 frames a second considering the graphics level, but whatever. And I've only played handheld, so obvious. But it's fine. I care whether or not it's fun. Exploring the city, moderately interesting. Some of the character stuff has been pretty cutesy. I'm still not convinced I like the action combat stuff. I prefer the balance they did in Legends Arceus, where as a player character you dodge out of the way of attacks, but the battles themselves are traditional turn-based. I prefer that. But I think they're trying to attract the younger audience who just don't play turn-based games. You know, they're used to their action, tippy-tappy, spam-the-button mobile games and shit. It's my theory. So yeah, the action combat does feel pretty spammy, and it's not super responsive when it comes to positioning and stuff. There's very little... It doesn't feel like there's a lot of skill. I mean, there is some. You have to concentrate on what you're doing and make sure you've got the right Pokemon out. And the new action combat flaw of it all mean you have to build movesets in a different way. You would usually, in the old games, you would have a Pokemon with coverage. You'd have one of their, same type moves, maybe two if they're a dual type, and you'd have status moves and all that sort of stuff, just for coverage sake. But in this game, because of the way it works, you're actually better off stacking several moves of the Pokemon's type. So when one's on cooldown, you use the other one, and then back to the other one. So you're always getting that stab. So I'm not sure whether I like that or it's interesting. I suppose it's interesting because you have to build movesets in a different way than you used to, which is novel in its own right. But again, not sure whether I like it. I don't hate it. I just wish it was turn-based. It's one of the things I like. Like Pokemon is one of the very few turn-based games I play and enjoy. So I hope, what this is doesn't infect the main series games. It's also really, really on rails. Like you get to a certain point and you can explore freely to a certain extent. But the way the progression works, really, really on rails. The previous main series game and Legends Arceus, they felt a lot more free in how you want to approach things and what order you want to do things in. So, I don't know. It's not really a review to break it all down. It's just sort of first impressions of it because I've only played, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours worth. Let's see if it'll tell me. Nintendo's game tracking is always stupid. When you go to your profile, it says, oh, you've played about 10 hours. Just tell me the exact time. You're tracking it. Yeah, it's not telling me yet. It's just first played 1 day ago. Does the save file? Oh, no, there we go. The save file tells me 5 hours. I estimated correctly. And that's not 5 hours pressing forward to progress either. I've spent a bit of time just dicking around. Considering how tired I am, I think for the rest of the afternoon until it's retire time, I might try some shiny hunting. There are a couple of tricks I've seen people use to increase shiny or try and get shinies to spawn. Doesn't seem very fun. So I'm just going to poke around and hope for the best. Might do some side quests. I do like the side quests. They're kind of fun. Not very deep, not very complicated, and just dirt basic stuff, but hooray, side quests. And apparently you can't get the shiny charm without trading, and wonder trade or super, that kind of trade where you just, roll the dice with a random. That doesn't exist in this game, which is annoying. I used to love doing that. So yeah, you have to trade to get the full Pokedex. You have to trade in order to get the completionist of the list thing that rewards you with the shiny charm. Both things I'm kind of restricted from doing right now. I mean, I can use the hotspot on the phone, I guess, but I'm not too worried about that. So full odds shiny hunting for me. One of the things I do like about it is so far I've seen many of my old favorites as far as specific Pokemon in the game. Apparently Eevee's a bit of a trick to get. There's like one special spot you have to go to get an Eevee, and I love my Umbreon, so I've got to go do that. Totodile, one of my favorite starters, brilliant. Again, I've been out of the loop on it, haven't been keeping track with it, so I'm not even sure how many Pokemon are in the game, or which ones they are, or what new Mega Evolutions there are. I've seen a couple of Mega Evolutions so far, including Totodiles, which looks amazing. So yeah, it's kind of fun. Kind of fun going in blind with this thing instead of being the content creator guy about it. I do miss streaming it though, because streaming Pokemon games is always a bunch of fun. There's always fantastic conversations being had on live stream. So with a bit of luck, I'll have a place soon, and we'll be able to stream some of this. I'll probably maybe start up a second save on a secondary account and do some sort of gimmick playthrough, which could be fun, but that's looking ahead. For now though, just going to get this edited, post it up, do my shiny hunting, and go to sleep. And not sure what tomorrow's going to be about. Weekend though. Maybe I should go back to that caravan park and try and give myself another rest day or two to help get over this a little bit quicker. Probably be a smart thing. Someone did send through on the PayPal money specifically earmarked for stays at caravan parks, so I can splurge. It's usually a once a week kind of thing. Make sure I get hot showers and stuff, but someone did send some money through specifically for that. So a little bit easier to justify 2 caravan park stays so close together. So thank you for that. And thank you to everyone who's thrown money at that, or the super chats, or the patron. Thank you to everyone who's left likes and comments on the videos. Comment. So the algorithm doesn't bury these. Appreciate all that help. I also like the comments just because it's almost like company. I don't feel quite so alone. Because it's easy to feel very small when you're living out of a van. I'm not a man who gets lonely, but there is something akin to loneliness that happens when you're living like this. So it's nice to know there are people out there on your side, you know what I mean? So thank you for that. So, till next video.